AB1964, which has a do pass recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill that would close a loophole in the state's unsafe handgun law. This loophole threatens to seriously undermine existing state handgun safety laws and requirements. Existing law provides that no unsafe handgun may be manufactured or sold in California by a licensed dealer and requires that the Department of Justice prepare and maintain a roster of handguns which are determined to be safe. One of the exceptions to this statute has been the opportunity to sell what are called single-shot handguns, whether or not they meet the otherwise applicable safety requirements. What has developed over time is that guns that would not otherwise meet the requirements are modified to meet the single-shot exception, sold, and then remodified back to their otherwise unlawful status. This used to be something that was a rather minor and occasional occurrence, but it's grown to be over 18,000 instances in the last year. It's something that the Department of Justice has noted is growing at a rapid rate, deserves to be curtailed because it is not consistent with making sure that those handguns that are sold in California meet our safe handgun requirements, and I would respectfully request an aye vote since the bill has only minor costs.
Terrific. Do you have witnesses in support?
Rebecca Gonzalez. I'm here today as a volunteer with the Brady campaign to prevent gun violence in all our chapters in California, and we strongly support this bill which closes this loophole.
Next witness.
Sylvia Solis Shaw on behalf of the Office of Los Angeles City Attorney Mike Fuhrer in support.
Is there public comment in support? Do we have witnesses in opposition?
Mr. Chairman, members, good morning. Sean Doherty from Wild Horse Consulting on behalf of our client, the California Association of Federal Firearms Licensees. We were in opposition to this bill when it came before public safety, and we continue to be in opposition for this bill. First thing, we do continue to have an issue with the way the bill is drafted when it calls for banning guns that have been permanently altered to be single shot. The sole purpose of creating a single shot exemption is that it would fit the definition of the not unsafe handgun roster. If this firearm, in this case semi-automatic, has been permanently altered to be a single shot, then where is the harm? Secondarily, we don't see the need for the bill because while the member notes that there are 18,000 of these cases that have happened in the last year, there's no evidentiary background to support that claim, number one. Number two, there are no crimes that have been committed from these firearms. The roster itself is under judicial review in a case that is being brought Pena v. Lindley, and this would simply add to the opposition, the plaintiff in that case. It would add to their case and bring the roster under even further jeopardy. We don't feel that the bill is necessary. We don't feel that there's a harm that's actually taking place, nor that this bill will actually solve for that harm. And for those reasons, we don't think any costs are justified and ask for your no vote.
Is there any more speakers? Department of Finance.
No file.
Yes, sir. Were you coming to the mic late?
Yes, sir, in opposition.
Give us your name.
My name is David Powell, and while we understand the concerns about the bill, the Assemblyman last month failed to notify the public that not all of these guns that are not on this roster, this California roster, I might add, are unsafe. They're not unsafe. They've all passed in 49 other states. They're common use guns, and there's no reason for this bill. And that's why I urge for no vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else?
Sam Perretta is representing gun owners of California in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming to the table.
Mr. Vice Chair, the gentlemen joining us are from the Department of Justice. They're just here as technical witnesses if the committee is interested in what the characteristics and incidents of the use of this loophole.
So they're here for questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the question, as you stated it.
So, do you want to describe for the members how this loophole is being now exploited?
My name is Steve Lindley. I'm currently the chief of the California Department of Justice Bureau of Firearms. I'm the Lindley in the Pena versus Lindley lawsuit. I'll actually turn it over for some more technical advice from my partner here, Special Agent Supervisor Blake Graham, who can describe exactly what's going on, and we would kind of debunk the fact that these guns are not being used in crimes and there's not an issue.
Good morning. So I'm actually one of the people that involves in assisting weapons to get on or off the roster if there's a problem or if they are successful in their attempts by manufacturers to put a gun on the roster. I actually take the guns apart and make sure that they're in compliance or not in compliance. The numbers this year are trending towards about 19,900. Last year there were 18,000 of these that were put in people's names as single shots when in fact they were temporarily single shots. The way this is occurring is there's some overall length and barrel length minimums that are being temporarily placed on these weapons. So there's basically a longer barrel that is temporarily welded onto a dummy barrel that's inserted in the weapon. And then after the 10-day waiting period is over with, the weapon is then walked out of the store sort of as part of a charade to get around this law, the existing roster law, and then the person will walk back in and ask the store to gunsmith their weapon back into semi-automatic status. There's sort of a recipe, if you will, on the internet encouraging people to do this on various websites. So that's just one of the practices. It takes about 2 minutes to convert a gun from single shot mode back into normal semi-automatic mode. As far as weapons being involved in crimes, there are weapons that have been seized as single-shot pistols that are, for example, Glock pistols that are not on the roster, Generation 4s, and there are weapons that are crime guns and evidence status on those, just to name one specific type that I've seen as of this morning. I looked at the numbers, and there are single-shot pistols, but they're not single shots. They're semi-automatic handguns that are made to be that way.
Overall, this is just a loophole that's in the current law that allows people to bring in guns that aren't on the current list. They gunsmith them, and then once the purchase has gone through, they gunsmith them back to the original configuration. These are semi-automatic pistols that are being changed to single shot in order to get around the law.
Move the bill. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Is there any other witnesses? Seeing none, would you like to close, Mr. Dickinson?
I would only add that the purpose of the safe handgun roster is not just to prevent the use of such guns in criminal activity, but also to prevent those who might otherwise be injured by accidental incidents because the guns don't meet safe handgun standards as well. And with that, I would request respectfully an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. This bill doesn't quite have enough votes today. How do you want? We're going to be roll call for us, and we'll put it on call for you.
Okay, thank you.
How's that?
Thanks.
Oh my.